Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I'm glad to be back with you guys. What a beautiful day, man. It's like 40 degrees out today. Sun is shining. Everything is awesome today. It was so cold yesterday, guys. I was going to do a video, and I was like, you know what? Not going to do one. And lo and behold, my buddy Dan LaFlame came through for us. Hey, prayers for Dan. He just got out of the hospital, man, had COVID. So I'm glad you're doing better, Dan. And guys, I need to shout out my buddy Ron Drake with Ron's Lawns, Crystal Rivers. He needs your prayers. He just underwent a surgery yesterday, and he is on the mend. And we need to pray for him. It is really beautiful out, man. Anyway, Dan said, hey Doc, have you ever turned a potential customer down and given them to somebody else that you trusted? Yes, I have. Yes, I have done that. So we're going to talk about that. What are the pros and cons of doing that? Well, number one, you guys all remember Dalen. If you don't, he's a fella that did some work with me a little while back. You should be able to find some of the videos that he was in with me. I changed the oil on one of his old mowers, and it blew up out in my driveway, or out in the street here. But I felt like I could trust Dalen. I turned over one of my bi-weeklies to him, and he took care of it just fine. So I had no trouble in that area. But I have heard the horror stories, you know what I mean? And so what are some of the things you're looking for when you decide you're going to turn somebody over to what could have been your client, but you're just too busy to do it? So for me, number one, the guy has to have insurance. Okay, has to have insurance. I'm not going to stick a guy who's uninsured, doesn't have his business affairs in order. Let's just say a guy is working under the table. I'm not pushing anybody like that off onto a potential customer. If you don't have your insurance, your business insurance, if your vehicle's not insured, if you don't have your driver's license, you're driving without a license, you don't have some, obviously you have to have some knowledge of lawn care, because anybody can cut a yard, but not everybody can manicure a yard. Okay, let's just put it that way. So you have to have some type of lawn care experience. And one thing that's a must for me, and this is the hardest thing to find, is somebody who says what they mean and means what they say, and you can set your watch by what they tell you. Somebody that is that on top of on top of things. I know there's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. But somebody who is trustworthy, and you know, if they tell you, hey Doc, or hey Jim, or hey Joe, or hey Bob, I'm going to be there at 4 o'clock today, they're there. There's no, well, I wonder if he's coming. No, you just know he's going to be there. Punctual, sticks to his word, a man of his word, or a woman of their word. So those are two of the things that I have to have. You've got to have your business in order, and you've got to be reliable, super reliable. What are a few things, and have you had somebody that you put on a job and they didn't quite do what you thought they would. Now, I had that one time. My cousin owned a gym, okay? And I met these guys who said, man, we can take care of your cousin. And this was a huge gym, okay? He was in charge of the entire strip mall area. These guys did such a horrible job. I went out to the job, and the owner started getting, you know, he's a bigger guy, husky guy, so he thought he was going to throw his weight around. And I was like, look, you know, you can throw your weight around all you want. If you think you're intimidating me, I don't care. You're not going to get paid unless the job looks good. So you stand out here and act like Billy Tough Butt all you want. Unless you do this job correctly, you're not getting payment. And so he was there for 2 more days fixing that job to satisfaction of my cousin. And my cousin released the check to him. So, and I swore I would never sub anybody after that until I met my guy Nick. And my guy Nick is on top of stuff, man. When he tells you he's going to get it done and it's going to be right, I have had him send guys back to my jobs to get it right when the customer was not happy. That only happened once, but Nick is a fantastic guy to sub work to. So I haven't had a myriad of issues in business. I really haven't. So do I think, you know, personally, yes, I would recommend a few guys to take over yards that I just couldn't do. And I've done that. And I also carry a card holder like thing in my truck, and if somebody needs a stump grinded or a tree trimmed or something, like, I have guys, you know what I mean? We all have the guy, right? Of course, us Italians, we all have a guy. I have a guy that does pretty much anything, electricity, plumbing, all that. We got a guy that will help out, because there are things I'm just not doing. Okay, guys, I'm not doing plumbing. I'm not doing, another thing I don't do is clean gutters. I know a lot of you guys clean gutters, and that's great. But I am a landscaper. That means I stay on the land. I'm deathly afraid of heights. So that's just one thing the Lord never blessed me with, was not being able to get over the fear of heights. Okay? So, Dan, I appreciate the topic, man. I mean, honestly, guys, think about it. Do you have someone that you could trust to do this work for you? If you had a client's neighbor that wants you to do it, but you don't have time, do you have someone you can trust? Okay? Now, I had let Timmy Herr do a lot of my aerations. Did a great job. I knew I could trust him. He took care of it. He got them done. All he did was simply text me when they were finished and said, hey, it's done. And my customers were super happy with it. So I do have some people I can fall back on. Do you guys have people you can fall back on? And if not, why not? I mean, seriously, why not have somebody that you can trust to do things? Here's a big question I get asked. Doc, aren't you afraid of getting sick and not being able to go out and work? Of course I am afraid of that. We are all human. We all get sick. But that's why you have to have people you can hold on to and trust. If you guys remember earlier this year, my clutch went down. I had 2 different guys, Tim Herr and my buddy Nick, offered me mowers. Guys, you've got to make friendships out here to where if they need to rely on you, you are willing to help them, and if they have to rely on, or if you have to rely on them, you got to be willing to take the help. So I hope all this makes sense. Sometimes I ramble, and then when I listen to it, when I edit the video, I'm like, well, that just didn't make any sense. But I just want to tell you, is it a slippery slope? Yes, it is. But as long as you have a guy who's got his business in order, I think you'll find that you're in good hands. But you have to do the homework on them, okay? You can't expect them to tell you, oh yeah, I got this, I got that. Well, let me see it. Let me see a copy of your insurance. Let me see some of your work so I know that you know what you're doing. I'm just not going to take a guy's word for it that pulls up into my driveway and says, hey man, I know what I'm doing. Just go ahead and give me the address. You know, what? Are you crazy? My word is important to me out here. So, guys, hope you're having a great week. We're almost to Christmas. We're going to get into cutting that tree down this Friday, I believe, either Friday or Saturday. I may hold off till Saturday. I don't know, depending on the weather. Sarah and I have been going to the gym for the last 3 or 4 days. So as you can tell, well, you can't tell, but I'm telling you, I'm sore. But hip is starting to feel a little bit better. For those who have been asking me and praying for me, I appreciate that. And please keep everyone in your prayers this holiday season who have lost a parent or, you know, or who are lonely, older folks that can't get out. You know, stop by, give them a card or something, man. Tell them you love them. Let them know people are thinking about them. It's the right thing to do. Anyway, we love you guys as always. God loves you. And as always, Dr. Real was in the house. Keep it real, guys. I will be back with something fun this week somewhere. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.